Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This week, we are setting aside the usual deep dives into macroeconomics and international policy because,
Right.
honestly, we have something far more complex and maybe emotionally
Are
charged.
definitely more emotionally
We
charged.
have a massive stack of highly dramatic intelligence centered entirely around the week of October 13th for a certain extremely long-running soap opera based primarily in Genoa City.
And when meant about this specific week, I mean, our source material doesn't just paint a picture of chaos. It paints a picture of, like, critical mass. We're looking at simultaneous explosions of desperation, legal warfare, and literal life or death situations. It's intense.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to rapidly synthesize this flood of intense soap opera spoilers. We need to go beyond just reciting plot points, you know.
Mhm.
We need to understand the fundamental character motivations, especially ones driving the most reckless behavior, and critically identify the massive significance of this huge influx of new talent and recasts detailed in these documents.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is the geographical split in the crisis.
Yeah.
It's really stark.
Yeah.
We have two distinct theaters of operation, basically. On one side, you've got this high-stakes, deeply personal drama just boiling over in Los Angeles, right? Which is where our central characters have kind of fled for sanctuary.
Right, trying to escape.
Exactly. And then on the other side, you have escalating corporate and legal chaos back home in Genoa City. The core tension is, well, it's classic soap, but it's compelling.
Yeah.
Love pursued to the point of obsession, devastating legal battles, and then the sudden intervention of tragic accidents. Everything getting at once.
And we absolutely have to start where the desperation is thickest, and that is with Kyle Abbott. Our intelligence reports categorize his emotional state as way too desperate, bordering on dangerous, and honestly, reading the details, he is clearly unraveling in a deeply unattractive way.
That is the perfect way to put it. It's
Yeah.
like self-destruction disguised as pursuit. What's fascinating here is how clearly the reports lay out his primary motivation.
Yeah.
And it's rooted entirely in existential fear, right? Not genuine romance.
Mm.
Kyle told his parents, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins, that he can't let Claire go. Flat out.
And his parents, Jack and Diane, they're flagged as being very concerned about his recent life choices. They see him cycling back into his worst habits.
Precisely. The fear driving him isn't just, losing Claire. It's the fear that if he actually gives Claire the psychological space she asked for,
Yeah.
she will step back, achieve clarity, and realize that what they had
Yeah.
was never real love. That self-defeating realization that he failed the love test, that's what he is trying to outrun by doubling down on this controlling behavior.
And he is failing spectacular. I mean, the reports point out he is repeating the same mistake. And
Yeah.
let's remind you, the listener, of the context here. He has already pushed Claire too far once. He proposed marriage immediately after she discovered his major betrayal with Otter Charles. It was like the ultimate attempt to fast forward past his own failure.
And that attempt failed because, as the sources confirm, Claire just downed. She'd had enough. She saw the pattern.
Right.
She saw the fundamental lack of respect for boundaries. And now he's making things even worse by trying to exert control from afar. Kyle cannot stand back and let Holden Novak, the new, safe, clean slate option, get closer to Claire in L.A.
No, wait.
He already made things awkward by saying harsh, controlling things about her simply going to L.A. to see Holden in the first place. Just putting up every possible emotional barrier he could find.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. And as the report suggests, this is where it crosses the line from desperate to potentially obsessive. Despite Jack and Diane telling him explicitly, don't do it, meaning do not chase her, Kyle is pressing forward. He's got this plan to follow Claire to Los Angeles. But his immediate next step, it's almost unbelievable in its delusion.
It is the move of a man with zero perspective. Just none. His next immediate action, according to the intel, is deciding to go to Claire's mother, Victoria Newman,
Victoria.
for help in tracking down the woman he just completely alienated. He sees Victoria as, like, an ally in getting what he wants, rather than the protective barrier she truly is.
That is a staggering level of entitlement, even for an Abbott. I mean,
Wow.
the sources give us specific dialogue notes detailing this interaction. Kyle is described as begging Victoria, pressing her hard for the exact address of where Claire is staying in L.A.
Yeah.
And Victoria, understandably, is described as being uncomfortable with the entire conversation. I mean, she knows her daughter sought distance, right?
Sure it is.
And this man is now demanding her location, like he has some kind of right to it.
And we really have to analyze Victoria's internal conflict here, too. She doesn't like Kyle. Not really. But she desperately wants Claire to be safe and happy. So the reports speculate that Victoria might try to protect Claire by, feigning ignorance, saying, oh, I don't know exactly where she is.
Uh,
But Kyle is so focused on getting that location that he will likely try to sweet-talk it out of her by claiming he's trying to protect Claire from Holden Novak.
oh, that's classic.
It is. It's a classic gaslighting technique, right?
Yeah.
Accusing the safe person of being the threat.
But let's pause on this for a second. I understand the motivation behind his choice of target, Victoria, but why on earth would he think she would help him? Given that Victoria's own son, Noah, is often close with Claire, and Victoria is, let's face it, hyperprotective of her family's emotional stability, wouldn't she recognize this desperate move as a clear threat to her daughter's peace?
That's a brilliant point. And the assumption, according to the psychological analysis in the reports, is that Kyle believes Victoria, as a mother who has also had, well, chaotic relationships. Right. He thinks she would understand the need to fight for true love, regardless of the consequences. That's his warped logic. But the greater narrative function is that his action forces Victoria into the conflict. She can no longer be a passive bystander.
Okay.
Whether she gives up the address or not, she has now been pulled directly into Kyle's spiral.
Yeah.
He's made her part of it.
Right. So regardless of whether Victoria ultimately hands over the address or not, the prediction for Kyle's trip is extremely bleak. The report suggests this is absolutely the worst thing he could do.
The worst.
Predicting he will only push Claire further away, potentially right into Holden's arms, precisely because Kyle has no grip on reality right now. He is functionally stalking her, thinking it's romance.
So what does this aggressive pursuit mean for the overarching story? It means Kyle's actions are actually serving the clear narrative purpose of cementing the new relationship.
Oh, interesting. The opposite effect.
Exactly. Claire, the pursued character, is basically pushed toward the safer, newer romantic option, Holden, by the overwhelming controlling actions of the past partner, Kyle. There is no hope, the scuttlebutt suggests, for a sweet romantic reunion. Kyle is on a crash course for rejection when he arrives in LA. That's the consensus.
Exactly. Okay, so if Kyle's pursuit is the emotional explosion driving him out west, the LA side is providing the perfect landing pad, and now, thanks to new characters, some serious intrigue. Let's transition to segment 2, where Claire is supposedly safe and decompressing, but is now facing the imminent threat of Kyle's stalking. She's spending quality time with Holden Novak.
And the reports start with a nice, almost literary detail to establish their bond. It's kind of cute. Claire and Holden are seen together having Vespers, which is specified as their usual drink inspired by James Bond.
Okay, it's a touch.
It's a moment of playful sophistication. But, that calm lasts only a moment. As soon as they settle in, we get our first new face who immediately complicates their dynamic.
And this introduction is critical for linking LA's past to Genoa City's ongoing messy chaos. This is big. We are introduced to new face number 1. Sienna Beale, or possibly Bacall, played by the soap veteran Tamara Braun. She is making her debut by serving them those Vespers.
And Sienna's immediate presence is deeply pivotal. She's not just some random waitstaff, okay?
Right.
The intel confirms she knows Holden from when he lived full-time in LA. This was years ago, back when Damian Kane was a major figure, before the whole Dumas family drama kicked off.
Okay, establishing history.
Exactly. Establishes her history and roots in that LA scene. But here's the genuine aha moment that connects everything back to Genoa City.
Yeah.
Sienna also knows Audra Charles.
Oh, this is fantastic casting and plotting. So she's not merely a source of history for Holden. She's an information hub linking the new couple, Holden's past, and Kyle's betrayer.
Bingo.
She is positioned immediately to stir the pot without even trying that hard.
And she does. Sienna naturally chats up Claire and Holden, asking if they are officially a couple. Holden clarifies, we're just friends. And this is where the writing just shines. Sienna, the local connection, she quips that anyone is better than the last woman Holden was hanging around with. And then she hilariously misremembers her name and calls her Audrey something.
That is just brilliant. And the reports confirmed this causes Claire to smirk.
Yes.
That smirk is everything because it immediately tells you Claire is taking satisfaction in Holden's past, negative connection to Audra, who is, of course, the woman Kyle cheated with. It validates her decision to move on.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Sienna is a pivotal character. She's linking Holden's past, Audra's history, and the new dynamics with Claire. She is an immediate, organic catalyst for bonding Holden and Claire over shared rivals. They now have a shared enemy, Audra, who is the physical manifestation of Kyle's betrayal.
Right.
The Sienna character quickly gives Claire permission, essentially, to fully embrace the new relationship with Holden. It's smart plotting.
And while Sienna's introduction is, an exciting plot device, the second new face is far more dramatic because it involves a major recast, immense family stakes, and immediate peril.
New face number 2 is the high-stakes recast debut of Noah Newman, now played by Lucas Adams. We got the setup in the previous week's episodes. Sharon was sent ahead by Nick to see Noah in L.A. because Nick was stuck back in Genoa City dealing with the complex Kane crisis.
Right, the setup was pretty routine, a concerned parent visiting a son who moved for his career. But the payoff is anything but routine. The spoilers for next week revealed the terrifying crisis. Sharon calls Nick, and the report states she is crying hysterically, reporting that Noah has been in a really bad car accident.
That is the definition of a gut punch for the Newman family, who are already spread thin and dealing with corporate warfare back home.
Yeah.
Now, we had to acknowledge the immediate comfort zone here for you listeners. The fun casting connection.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
Tamara Braun, who just debuted as Sienna, actually played Lucas Adams' mom on Days of Our Lives.
No.
Yeah. So their simultaneous arrival to Y&R is a fantastic kind of meta-casting coincidence that fans of daytime drama will absolutely love. It's a nice little wink.
It certainly softens the fictional trauma a bit. However, given the major recast hiring of Lucas Adams, the consensus among all our sources is that Noah survives.
Right.
You don't make that kind of high-profile strategic investment in a character only to kill them off-screen in a traffic incident. That just doesn't happen.
Agreed.
But here's where we need to apply some critical thinking. If he survives, this raises an important question. Is it just an accident?
And the reports strongly suggest there might be something more to the story.
Mm-hmm.
The context of Noah's career is key here.
Mm-hmm.
He is working in the volatile nightclub industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the suggestion floating around is that he might have gotten caught up with the wrong people in that business.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps rivals, perhaps debtors, perhaps even criminal elements who might have caused the accident, making it an intentional act rather than just random tragedy.
I think the wrong people theory is almost guaranteed, isn't it? Because that kind of foul play is exactly what would escalate the drama beyond a simple traffic investigation.
Exactly.
It would provide the necessary mechanism to pull Nick, and possibly Victor himself, out to L.A. immediately, turning this into a massive Newman family mobilization.
Right.
This ties the professional chaos Nick was dealing with in Genoa City directly to immediate personal danger for his family out in Los Angeles.
Precisely. It forces the Newman family to confront the fact that even running away to L.A. doesn't guarantee safety, not from their enemies or maybe even their own bad decisions. The focus shifts entirely from corporate paper trails and lawsuits to criminal investigations, forcing Nick and Sharon to unite in their worry, regardless of their own complicated history.
Speaking of that professional chaos, let's pivot back to Genoa City for segment 3, where the corporate battles are escalating rapidly. We need to focus on the Kane crisis, the very thing that held Nick up in the first place, preventing him from being in L.A. when Noah crashed.
Right. The Kane crisis is a full-blown legal offensive. Kane is suing Newman Media for defamation. And this isn't just a threat, this is serious business. It could cost the Newman Corporation a massive settlement and severely damage their credibility. The intel suggests Kane clearly has something substantial up his sleeve as part of this offensive. He's not just bluffing.
And he is being highly strategic and, well, selective about his targets, which is why Victor is apparently unconcerned, but Adam and Chelsea are worried.
Yeah.
The sources detail that Kane offered an exclusive to Chelsea, and only Chelsea, not Adam, who runs the division with her.
Ooh, clever.
That is a manipulative move designed specifically to sow professional and, let's be honest, personal discord between the co-CEOs.
It's psychological warfare, pure and simple. Chelsea and Adam are certainly worried about the implications of the lawsuit, especially the internal rift it could cause. But the intelligence confirms that Victor Newman is reported as being completely unconcerned, which is classic Victor, right?
Cool.
He trusts his lawyers, and more importantly, he trusts his vast resources to crush anyone, even Kane, in a court battle. He thinks money solves everything.
But Kane is not backing down this time. He specifically warned Adam and Chelsea that the next story they run will have a very different outcome. That isn't just a legal threat. That is a direct promise of reputation damage and financial pain against their business. It shows his commitment to, like, scorched earth.
And this action is pure retaliation, obviously, following the hit piece. Newman Media ran on him, likely detailing his shady past. The reports confirm Kane is all riled up and is actively cooking up big stuff in collaboration with Phyllis.
Oh, boy.
Yes, this confirms a continued and likely highly nefarious partnership between the two former, well, let's call them villains.
Let's delve into that partnership because that is a terrifying prospect for Genoa City business. Kane and Phyllis working together means strategic, well-resourced sabotage. They are going to continue to get closer. And the sources promise a big reveal of their specific conspired plan expected next week. What are the possible avenues here? What could they be planning?
Well, if we look at their histories, right, Phyllis excels at digital manipulation, hacking, leveraging secrets.
Oh, yeah.
While Kane understands corporate loopholes and financial fraud, partly from dealing with his father Colin's cons for years.
True.
So the reports suggest they're not just looking for a win in the defamation suit. They want to cripple Newman Media permanently. This could involve leaking sensitive, perhaps classified internal information about Newman's past activities, or maybe targeting a specific weakness in Chelsea and Adams' leadership that maybe Victor is unaware of. Remember, Kane has faced down the Newmans before. He knows their weak points. And Phyllis, she lives for this stuff.
That makes the legal threat feel much more immediate than just a simple lawsuit, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It sounds like Kane was maybe backing down previously, perhaps a bit scared off by the Newmans, but the hit piece just convinced him to double down on his collaboration with the one person who loves chaos more than anyone, Phyllis Summers.
Exactly. This partnership ensures that the Newman family is facing simultaneous legal and corporate threats back home.
Right.
While they deal with massive, acute personal tragedy out west. It's a very effective strategy to split the family's resources and attention, which is precisely what Kane and Phyllis need to succeed.
And speaking of resources and corporate safety nets, this legal chaos is coinciding with another major character development.
Yeah.
The temporary but significant departure of Jill Abbott.
Jill's exit is incredibly significant because it basically means she washes her hands of her son's messes. Finally, the intel reveals she thinks Billy won't listen to her. He just won't. And she can no longer use the vast resources of Chancellor Industries to make him happy or fix his constant problems anymore. That parental safety net, it's gone.
And what's interesting is her level of threat assessment regarding Kane. The reports confirm she doesn't even think Kane is a major threat.
Really?
Yeah, even after remembering Colin's last con, which was incredibly destructive, she is either in denial or maybe her personal issues with Billy are just clouding her professional judgment of Kane's capabilities right now.
I lean toward the latter. I think she is so exasperated with Billy's constant recklessness and refusal to mature that she is choosing self-care over corporate babysitting. It's about her, not him.
Makes sense.
The sources confirm that Jill, played by the iconic Jess Walton, is on a countdown for exit. She's planning to leave soon to undergo specific medical treatments in London. This is a very real-world reason, for the actress, that has a profound impact on the fictional structure of the show.
The implications of her departure for the Genoa City landscape are enormous then. Who is left to protect Billy from himself? Who is left to defend Chancellor's interests against Kane and Phyllis's machinations?
The answer is basically no one. Not with the same corporate clout and personal authority as Jill. It means Kane has to handle his own PR crisis, sure. But more importantly, the reports confirm the underlying theme here. Billy Boy's got to be a big boy and clean up the mess he's made of his life all on his own. Jill stepping away removes a major safety net for her son and leaves the door wide open for Kane's legal action to have a much more profound and lasting effect on the entire family. The stability of Chancellor just took a major hit.
It certainly makes the corporate environment back in GC much more volatile, requiring the Newman family to focus east while their personal lives are exploding west. Okay, now let's bring the LA and GC stories together in segment 4, because the car crash investigation in LA absolutely requires professional official help.
This is where we confirm the high stakes of the Noah crash.
Yeah.
It's not just a hospital visit. The reports introduce new face number 3, Detective Burrow, played by Matt Cohen. His introduction immediately validates the theory that the crash was not accidental. You don't bring in a detective for a simple fender bender.
Right. The sources mention his debut is on Thursday of next week. Given Noah's severe car crash and the immediate emotional response from Sharon, the expectation is that the detective will be talking to Sharon and Nick almost immediately upon their arrival in LA.
Yep.
And for you listeners who recognize the casting, the actor himself is incredibly well known. He's been on General Hospital, Supernatural, and done significant reporting work for outlets like ET and Access Hollywood.
Exactly. That level of casting gravitas confirms this is not a short-term storyline. This isn't a two-episode arc.
No.
The presence of a dedicated detective who will be investigating the crash strongly supports the theory that the accident was not random. It signals that this storyline is rapidly moving toward an active criminal investigation, potentially involving attempted homicide or severe assault, rather than just negligence.
Yeah.
This dramatically changes the game for the Newman family.
So the detective isn't just taking notes, he is actively looking for the culprit, which implies that Noah getting tangled up with the wrong people in the nightclub industry is likely true.
Seems very likely.
This shifts the dynamic from a family tragedy to a potential public scandal that Detective Burrow will uncover.
Absolutely. And while Detective Burrow will be the immediate focus, we also got a mention of a fourth upcoming character we should probably bookmark. It suggests the show is preparing for a complete structural shift heading into the next big rating period, sweeps.
Okay, that's Roger Horth. What do we know about him? Anything?
He is the fourth new person coming soon, confirming this massive talent injection. The reports note he began taping way back in September and is expected to debut late October or early November, right as the show heads into sweeps. We don't have his character name or specific function yet, but the sheer volume of new faces, Sienna, Noah, the recast, Detective Burrow, and now Roger Horsaw, all debuting in quick succession, confirms that the show is injecting massive amounts of new energy and new threats onto the canvas.
Yeah.
This feels like a deliberate attempt by the showrunners to shake up every major storyline simultaneously.
That speaks to a real sense of urgency behind the scenes to refresh the drama, doesn't it?
It really does.
Okay, let's synthesize everything we've uncovered today. Our stack of sources gave us a deeply volatile look at the week ahead, setting up the entire arc for, well, probably the rest of the year.
We covered three distinct axes of drama, really. First, you've got the emotional collapse of Kyle Abbott and his desperate, frankly dangerous pursuit of Claire, which is almost guaranteed to backfire and push her further toward the safe haven provided by Holden, who is now being enabled by the pot-stirring Sienna.
Right. Second, the immediate, terrifying personal danger facing the Newman family out in L.A., the shock of the high-profile crash involving Noah, the hysterical response of Sharon, and the subsequent high-stakes investigation brought in by Detective Burrow. Real danger.
And third, back in Genoa City, we have this strategic legal offensive led by Kane and Phyllis, which is occurring precisely at the moment of corporate vulnerability caused by Jill's crucial departure. These three storylines are all accelerating toward conflict simultaneously. It's a pressure cooker.
So, what does this all mean for you listening? You are now fully informed on the dramatic infrastructure of the coming week. You know the motivations, the specific threats, and who the new players are, and, more importantly, why they are being introduced right now.
Yeah.
You can watch the drama unfold knowing precisely why Kyle is begging Victoria, why Sienna's comments are so crucial for Claire's emotional closure, and what Kane and Phyllis are really cooking up back home.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought, which centers on the physical location of the Newmans, who are now stretched dangerously thin across the country.
This raises an important question, doesn't it? With Kyle chasing Claire to L.A. and Victoria understandably reluctant to help him with his desperate search, and simultaneously the L.A. police, via Detective Burrow, getting involved in a crash involving her own family, her son, Noah Howe, until the Newman family's professional chaos in G.C., which requires Victor and Nick.
Yeah, but it requires them.
How long until that spills entirely into their personal lives in L.A., forcing Victoria herself to fly west and confront the disaster head-on, abandoning the CEO chair at the absolute height of the Kane and Phyllis attack?
And the moment Victoria leaves her CEO chair, even temporarily, the legal chaos back home gets exponentially worse.
Oh, absolutely.
It really begs the question of whether the show is setting up a major corporate collapse to punish the Newman hubris, forcing them to choose between their family and their fortune. Which will they pick?
That is a fascinating possibility that connects every single plot point we discussed today.
Wow. Thank you for sharing your sources for this deep dive into the coming week's dramatic infrastructure. Lots to think about.
It was a pleasure dissecting the impending drama. You'll be ready for everything that hits the screen next week.